I've got this out on purpose because if anyone wants to buy, if anyone is interested in a, we're an Australian podcast. If anyone's interested in a Ben Simmons jersey.
Do you ever shoot out the front with that?
Did
you ever practice?
with my basketball hoop? No, I did not. But I'm sure if I had put it on, what was the joke you were gonna make?
There's too many to choose on.
Welcome to the Bronx Shear Basketball Show. I'm your host, Nathan Callanan, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jack Lynch.
We just looked at each other. It looked so synchronised then.
Did we?
That looked planned.
It'd be good to see on the feedback. Anyway, Jack, mate, we're back.
We are.
It's been a few weeks. I sort of extended us there with our pre-season predictions, which turned into sort of quarter-season predictions. But we are back now, finally. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm good. Life's good. Negative COVID test. That's always a
right,
plus.
yes. Jack's had a couple of COVID tests the last couple of weeks.
And then, just working, watching basketball, and
that's it, mate.
Putting up with your antics.
That's it. Since we last spoke, there's been, of course, quite a lot happening.
There's been 20 games of the season.
There's been a lot happening, but let's start off with absolute favourite of the show. If you're day one person of this show, you know that I love Dave Joerger, and we got some Dave Joerger news everywhere at the moment. So first off, Dave Joerger is taking time away from the 76ers. He's the assistant coach under Doc Rivers to do chemotherapy because he's got cancer in the neck and the head. So good luck to him and best wishes. So that sort of disheartened me a little bit.
Surprising news when I saw it.
Yeah.
Just don't expect it, but no, fingers crossed. And he's in good hands anyway.
Yeah, and he recorded a Woj pod before he told the team. And so it sort of all came out and I listened to his story, and of course, he recorded the Woj pod to sort of get the voice out there and sort of, the team heard it from him and then the world heard it from him, and he's trying to, he said he's very lucky they got onto it early. So it seems all good signs, and hopefully he makes, a full recovery.
I shouldn't make jokes, but what happens at Philly? Anytime you get a first-round draft pick, they get injured. Now you get a good coach, and this happens.
That's right. Yeah, no, he is a very good coach. Talking about Dave Joerger, Luke Walton. So Dave Joerger got fired for the Sacramento Kings, and then Luke Walton, I can't believe, got hired, and he was on for, what has it been, 2-3 seasons?
His third, I think.
Yep. Anyway, finally fired. And I was thinking about this. Alvin Gentry, when Doc Rivers was signing up for the Sixers, I'm pretty sure Doc Rivers wanted Alvin Gentry to come from the Pelicans. Yeah. I reckon Gentry has pulled this move perfectly. I reckon he went to the Kings as assistant because he saw that Luke Walton was the most likely.
Everyone knew that Luke Walton's getting fired.
Genius. I mean, I clicked it, and so Alvin Gentry is now taking over the Kings. And similar to the era of Dave Joerger in Sacramento, they played like lightning pace, up, down, no defense. The Pelicans under Gentry did the same thing. So, anyone who liked the Kings of 3 years ago, whatever it was, when they were scoring like 140 points a game, I know I loved watching them. They should probably be back.
They scored a lot. They had a lot scored on them.
That's right. And in better news, in Alvin Gentry's first game as coach for the Kings, the Sixers went in there without Joel and beat them. So
that sums up the Kings.
Tyrese Maxey.
Did you see that Luke Walton has the second best winning record for any Kings coach?
Shit. Oh, shit.
Well, it sums up the franchise.
Oh, that's terrible. I believe Shams or someone else reported the other day that MPJ could miss the rest of the season with a nerve issue.
And he just got the bag as well.
He did. So, I don't know. That's scary because, of course, it's scary for him on health reasons. But if you're a Nuggets fan, I said this last time we talked. If they had Murray fit and healthy, and they had, of course, MPJ. And then you've got Jokic, who's actually doing better than last season.
Which is ridiculous, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. I would have them as pretty much the top favourites in the West with Kawhi Clippers, and Kawhi's out as well. Poor Jokic, man. Okay, so your approach. Do you yet start to think about MPJ's injury issues as a young player if you are Denver?
100%.
As in thinking about not trading him yet, of course, but like
You've got to be planning.
getting it in your mind.
Yeah, obviously, like, nothing's really come out in terms of the severity of it. We just know that there's an issue, and that's all we know so far.
Yep.
But you've just offered him how many mil? How many years? You've already got Jamal Murray out. In a normal situation, if it was, if Murray was healthy and it happened to MPJ, you'd be like, all right, this sucks, but we can deal with it. With both stars out and there's no sort of certainty on what Murray will be like when he returns, this just accelerates the process of, all right, if we do need to make trades, what do we do? And I'm sure the GMs now are looking into it, being like, all right, what are options if worst case scenario? What are options best case scenario? And sort of planning from that, which you shouldn't be doing, year one of a long-term contract, but they took the risk. They knew the risk.
Yep.
And here we are.
If you're the Sixers, this just came to me. If you're the Sixers, would you trade Ben for MPJ right now? You should be asking me this.
If you're Philly, I'd say yes. Purely because Ben's not going to play anyway. You're not going to get a better return, I don't think, than MPJ. You take the risk on his health.
Yeah.
If you're Denver, you'd say no to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I was the Sixers, and I was going to make this point now going back to assessing what their mindset should be. They only stumbled upon MPJ because he was injured in the draft, badly, so he slid.
Slid to 14th, was it?
And their rise was a bit more slower because Jokic and Murray have been a more, I don't know, what would you call it,
They matured into their positions.
It wasn't just like they jumped on the scene, Tatum and Brown sort of esque first year and just went to the conference finals. Jokic has slowly every year, and Murray, his consistency every year has gotten better and better. So they stumbled upon this awesome player. Kudos to them as well. Great drafting, great scouting. But the age gap is different. The age sort of timing is different, and you can say the same thing about... I always... talking about Joel, making a trade with Ben and all that sort of stuff. People talked about Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard. We're waiting for those to ask out.
Yeah.
And I've said a lot of times... Everyone wants Dame because, of course, it'd be such a great fit. I've said a lot of times, Beal is either same age as Embiid or 1 year older than Embiid. Yeah. And I would sort of prioritize going to get Beal because of that reason. Dame is 31 or 32.
They're not that dissimilar players either.
No, that's right.
Dame's got this... Dame's done a lot more in the postseason and has this sort of persona about him where everyone expects him to do well in the postseason, but they're both elite scorers.
Yep.
Both shoot the ball so well from deep. If you're Philly, it's really a nil-sum game getting Dame over...
Yeah, that's it. So... Anyway, so it will be interesting with MPJ and what happens from here, and also Philly. I do have here Ben Simmons' mental health. Sorry. More important. The most important news at the moment in basketball. Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert becomes the first former NBA player to win Dancing with the Stars.
It's a great day for NBA fans.
What do we do? Do we stand up? Do we clap? Anyway.
Do you reckon he ranks this higher than his NBA championship?
Well, no. I was going to think about it for a second. Anyway, so Ben Simmons, let's just do it quick because we've got a lot to get through today, and there's not really a lot of stuff going on, but the mental health card, which Rich Paul and Ben have played. Okay, I'm going to...
Rich Paul is dating Adele?
I did not know that.
I found that out today. Don't quote me on this because I might be wrong.
That's got to be
but I'm pretty sure they're dating.
That's got to be the weirdest combo
Yeah.
ever. Jesus. No, you're throwing me now. Ben Simmons' mental health card. At the end of the day, you have to take mental health seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I take it seriously. You take it seriously. Anyone with, a heart and just smarts about them takes it seriously. However, let's just wrap that up and place it there. It is possible to play the mental health card.
Yeah.
I think it was Mark Spears reported earlier this summer. I don't know, things can change. I grant that as well. But that Ben's mental health, he's in a beautiful place with his mental health. And now I didn't even think of them playing the mental. I didn't think that they were going to do it. It wasn't even something that I knew that they were sort of capable of. But wow, now I'm getting more and more scared. I said last time we talked that I'm only going to get scared around the trade deadline because we can't possibly go to the playoffs with Ben Simmons on our team. It's just, look at the situation. We can't possibly. But now the mental health, you can't push the mental health. The Sixers have no power against mental health. They can't poke at it because it's a very touchy, fragile subject. Any sort of quick thoughts about the Ben Simmons situation at the moment?
I don't know if I said this to you recently off air, but I said it to someone, and from the outside looking in, looking at the way that he played against Atlanta in the second round last year, obviously his confidence was completely gone. Whether it was just a confidence issue or whether it was something underlying, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that, but there was something up there. Whether now, and maybe he was in denial about some underlying mental health issues or not, who knows? But to pull that card now either means, like you said, the reports from the summer in America, either he was lying to his team, which that happens. People, if they are going through something, they might be lying to themselves. They might not even be aware of it. But to pull that card now without actually going to sit, like, he hasn't seen we didn't want to see the psychologist at Philadelphia or anything like that. So he did everything he could not to help himself in that situation, and now he's playing it but still refusing to see anyone about it. Yeah. To me, that seems like an excuse, but I don't want to speculate.
You don't want to even say it because we're the bad guys if you go too hard on the, But
Philadelphia tried to hook him up with their
That's right.
psychiatrists, and by all reports, he was turning those meetings down. So outside looking in, he's not doing himself any favours. There might be something serious, there might not be, but like I said, we don't want to speculate.
Is that your phone?
That is my phone. Thanks, Mum. She's trying to call me.
Anyway, Ben Simmons, it's a very touchy situation. There's no real updates right now, so let's just bloody move on, mate. Anyway, the standings are... The NBA, I came up with this before.
You think too much.
Off the podcast, I said to you before, I came up with this. I'm only one man because of all the work I'm doing with the Bronx. And then what did you say to me? You said...
I'm not sure I came up with that saying.
I know.
I can guarantee you definitely didn't come up with that saying.
I know I didn't come up with this. And I know I didn't come up with this, but here's what I'm saying. The NBA is all over the place. Sorry. I don't know.
Well said, mate. Well said.
I feel like a real mum here. Just
cliche after cliche.
That's right. Anyway, so the NBA is all over the place. The Bucks started off with no players. The Sixers, no Ben. We were rolling, and then COVID struck the Sixers. No Tobias, no Matisse, no Isaiah Joe, no Joel. The Lakers, no LeBron, and we're finding out he's their whole team. The Celtics, no Jalen. You go and name it all. Like, even Vooch has missed a few games for the Rolling Bulls. There's only to be honest...
Who's healthy?
The Warriors, other than Clay. But even he's not in, so like... Yeah. And sorry, the Jazz. The Jazz have been mostly healthy. It's... Yeah, and then the Nuggets, everything's just crazy.
Orlando?
Anyway, so let's talk about one new thing this year in the league. Just a quick one. Let's just touch on it, even though I have highlighted it here in green. Physicality in the league. The league changed the rules this year that they don't specifically they don't want anyone jumping in an unnatural motion to then get some contact. That classic sideways jump. However, in that same statement, or in one of the statements I read, one of these officials from the NBA actually said these words: "We're trying to even up the balance between the in brackets advantageous balance on offense and defense," and you can see that. Yeah. And in every sport, we start off with some new rules at the start of the season, and then we see if they really hang on in the middle.
Refs always call them so hard initially.
That's right. Well, calling them hard in this case is just letting everything go. Maybe it's got a lot to do with the Olympics being in the off season. That sort of always sparks.
How much better was the Olympic basketball?
That's right. And I think
that sparks a conversation every 4 years.
That's right. It always sparks the conversation. It definitely did this offseason, and I think the NBA has tried to emulate that and make it a little. Let things go. There's so much being letting, even just the little things. And if you let little by little thing go, every niggle, every bump, the game and the mindset of the players just overall gets a bit more chippy.
Agitated.
Agitated, a bit more chippy. And talking about chippy, we've had Miles Turner, Rudy Gobert do the tango. We had LeBron James suspended for the first time ever. He was ejected for whacking Isaiah Stewart, and we'll get specifically into that in a second. And there was another fight. Jokic and bloody...
one of the Morrises. Whatever one's at Miami.
Yes. What would you do in Jokic's situation? Would you go do what he did?
Look, I can see why he did.
Are you a retaliator?
No, I'm not.
I'm not at all.
I can see why he did, especially with whichever Morris's was record.
Yeah.
They've done between the two of them, they've done some dirty shit. And because there's two of them, it's amplified twice as much.
Yeah.
And I hate that run across the court. And I hate take fouls anyway.
Yeah.
But knee-on-knee contact intentionally, and I think it was 100% intentionally. You can see why he was so frustrated.
Like, I'm not a retaliator, but he's a big guy. Yeah. Like, as you just said, those weird injuries or those weird moments, knee on knee or whatever, just sort of getting under someone, can result in the worst injuries.
Can define a career.
That's right. So, yeah, I would have been pretty pissed off. And did you see the photo of the Heat players waiting in the...
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. You
God.
know how I always say Jimmy Butler is a fake tough guy? And I hate this whole Heat mentality and how they're tough and whatnot.
Heat culture.
Heat culture. But the whole... him yelling at Jokic being like, let's go outside while they're still on the court is the fakest thing ever. Everyone... If there was a fight with all the players in the NBA, Jokic would win. I have no doubt in my mind. He's the biggest and the strongest player. Maybe Steven Adams.
Maybe Joel.
No, Jokic would beat the fuck out of Joel.
No, bro.
But did you see the photo of Jokic's brothers at the game?
Yeah.
And they're bigger than he is.
Yeah, that's right.
But like Jimmy Butler barking at him, knowing nothing is going to happen, doing the fake hold me back thing.
Yeah. Oh.
And then the photo of them in the room.
Bro, you're all 100 millionaires. Grow the fuck up. And for any sport, so we talked about, I asked you if you're a retaliator. So in my time of playing, local sport, especially in the older age, you would have had basketball tonight. You have to pay to play the game.
Yeah.
It's just a domestic league, whatever. You have to pay to play the game. Whenever someone has ever tried to start me, I say those words. I know for a lot of people who come off, like a bitch, whatever. I just say, bro, I'm paying to be here. Let's go, man. Let's play. Let's fucking play. Like, I'm not. If you want to, and some people go. This is getting too much into local leagues. Some people go to local basketball or local whatever sport just to let off steam. Yeah. And they're there to fight. And I just think, why don't you just go box? Go do some sort of fighting. Anyway, the same goes. It's not we're not the same pay grade, but it's the same sort of idea. You guys are 100 millionaires. Are you really gonna, sort of go to jail? What are four guys gonna do? Say Jokic went there and there's no security. Are they gonna beat him until he's dead?
No, they would just talk to him. they would have yelled at him.
Are they gonna beat him until he's dead? And ask yourself anytime you're gonna fight someone, what's your actual intentions? I'm too mature for that shit. Anyway, so LeBron, quickly.
Yeah.
If you're an Australian, you'll get this. Sorry if you're not. You saw the LeBron thing inside and out. Mm-hmm. My diagnosis on the LeBron hit on Isaiah Stewart yesterday or whatever day it was. Brayshaw, Gaff, footy players, AFL footy players. The way I said that, so it was Andrew Brayshaw, Andrew Gaff, or is it Angus? Is Angus Melbourne?
Angus is Melbourne.
So is it Andrew Brayshaw? Andy Brayshaw, yeah? Yeah.
I think so.
Sorry, non-AFL fans. Anyway, here's what happened. In footy, it's a very rough sport. You do a bit of niggling, same in basketball. Mm-hmm. The way I interpreted that was that Andrew Gaff swung around, and he swung around with a straight arm. That's not someone who's wanting to punch someone in the face. He swung around and then he gave him what I call a getaway, a fuck off punch.
Yeah.
And he's meaning it for the chest. It just so happened that Brayshaw's head was and his body was lower at that moment, and the straight arm just broke his jaw.
I'm surprised that you were going to say this.
And I think that LeBron, I'm not a LeBron lover, I'm a little bit of the opposite, but I think that LeBron, they were tussling, and Isaiah Stewart's head was down, and he's just like, it wasn't purpose. He's like, fucking get away from me, fuck off. And he even knew, but I reckon he's either looking for a shoulder or he's looking for air. He's like, just, flail of the arms, get the fuck off me.
I'm so surprised.
And then, and then Isaiah Stewart's eye just happens to be there. Bang, huge thing, whatever. And I'm not defending LeBron. If you just look at it, even though he does look back, it's at the last second. It's just a get off me throw. Are you different?
No, I'm 100% the same. That's why I'm surprised. I thought you'd be like, LeBron's dirty.
No.
No, 100%. If you play basketball, you've done that before. Someone's boxing you out, being overly aggressive, and it's just trying to chop the arm off.
Yep.
The way you described it was perfect in terms of Isaiah Stewart was a lot lower.
Yep.
And especially if you look at the contact, and this is the issue as well, slow motion replays don't help anyone. And everyone's like, LeBron was looking at him. But if you watch it in fast forward, or not fast, in like normal speed, it was just a one motion swing back.
It's just a get off me.
But the actual moment where he hit, you see LeBron's hands open, his fingers like grip the lip. That's not intentional.
Yeah.
You're not trying to hit him in the face. It was reckless, but it wasn't dirty.
Yeah.
And you see his first reaction was to put his hand out.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah Stewart going nuts was hilarious.
Yeah.
But that was disgraceful.
Yeah, it was.
He's like, 20 years old.
Yeah,
So
I feel
obviously
the same.
not as mature, but the whole like, I'm calm. And then go again. And then running into the tunnel. That was worse than
I understand, we all understand if you've ever played sport, you're hot. You're literally, your temperature gets even hotter when you've been badly hurt. You want to bloody hurt someone back. But as you said, the moment he starts walking back, like, he's got to know by that moment, okay.
You can't push off your trainers.
That's right.
Do you see DeAndre Jordan playing defense though?
Best defense he's played all year. Oh my gosh. Anyway, my question to you is a couple of questions, quick ones. Because of all this, will the NBAs get tighter again as the season goes on? And I guess second question is all this better for the game? Just the physicality and then sprinkle in a bit of fights, or you like it as it was last season?
I guess my hope is that it stays the same and the players adjust. Like even still, I'm watching like Tatum, for example, still looking for calls every game that he would have got last year that doesn't get this year. And it's like, come on, you've played 18 games now this season. You've got to know those calls just aren't there anymore.
Yep.
You've got to stop going to the ref. So hopefully that is where the adjustment comes in terms of the players now understand what is and what isn't a foul. And they're less frustrated with the refs and with each other. Will the NBA wait for the players to adjust? Probably not. It wouldn't. And it's like what we said before. The refs overcorrect everything initially. Like, do you remember when they brought in the delay of game warning if you touch the ball after you score?
Yep.
And they called it for everything. Even if you pass the ball back to them. They just do it strict to begin with.
Yep.
And at the moment, they're letting the boys play, which is good. And it's really fun to watch. But I wouldn't be surprised if slowly as the season progresses, more fouls will be called, more free throws, more advantage offensive player. But hopefully not as bad as it has been for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yep. All right, well, we've got a lot to get through. We've got a big segment coming up, so I'm just going to skip through a few things here and just give you the main questions. Main question number 1, the Warriors. They're doing great. Clay's got to come back. My quick assessment, while asking you the question, is that they're doing great, but Murray's out, MPJ's out, Kawhi's out, Portland are shit, Luka's started badly. The Jazz are the Jazz. Who knows with them? The Phoenix...
Suns are hot.
Suns are on 13 wins, but their best win in that run was probably against like Memphis, I think I saw. You check those 13 wins.
So 11 in a row.
13 in a row.
Is it?
13 in a row. Yeah.
Well, 13 in a
Played
row.
Dallas twice, both without Luka. You look at all those wins. Sorry, Suns fans. I've got a Suns t-shirt.
That makes you a fan.
Yeah. But anyway, you got to admit. Anyway, they have a good side. My question is, are the Golden State Warriors, who are red hot to start the season, Where would you realistically, with people having to come back, but also not coming back, like maybe Kawhi might not be back?
Yeah.
Can you see the Warriors realistically entering the playoffs as being named championship favorites or one of
No.
No.
I would still put healthy Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Does that include Kyrie?
No.
No.
I think a healthy Brooklyn.
Pretty much gone.
I'd say a healthy Milwaukee. And the reason, the first, like, just the example is going to go back for Brooklyn to last year, but we saw what happens when you rely on role players, and that was Joe Harris last year, and he shot 8% from a three or whatever it was in the playoffs. Obviously, with Klay Thompson is coming back, but if you look at the Warriors right now, Steph is playing out of his mind, but we do know in the playoffs, when the pressure's on and defense gets a bit more physical and you've got more time to prepare your defense around one guy, his playoff numbers drop.
Unfortunately, it's one guy.
I can't see Draymond. He does have a good playoff record. That 33-point game he had in Game 7 of the Finals, 2016. But I can't see Jordan Poole playing well.
Yeah,
I can't see Andrew Wiggins playing well. Andre Iguodala, well past his use by date, but that's the thing. I think at this current stage, it'll be easier to stop the Warriors than it would be to stop Giannis and the Bucks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're more well-rounded teams.
What about making the finals? What about even, like, first off, making the Western Conference Finals? 2 teams left in the West.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% confident. The Lakers are second favourites for the championship still. And a lot is going wrong with them right now. But a healthy LeBron and a healthy AD is still one of the best duos, if not the best duo in the league. And I know you're smirking because you can't stand AD. But AD has got more 30-point games than anyone else in the competition at the moment, equal with KD. 2020, they won the championship together pretty comfortably in the end. 2021, they were up 2-1 before AD did his groin against the Suns, who ended up making the finals. When they're healthy, and I know the roster has changed a lot since then, when they're healthy, I haven't seen them being beaten yet. Yeah. And that's why there's always that, and it's LeBron. It's hard to bet against LeBron.
LeBron's healthy,
It's hard to bet against LeBron at this stage in his career because how many times has he proven us wrong? So I don't want to rule them out yet.
Yep.
The Suns, we don't really know what they're capable of. The Jazz still haven't got over that hump, but this could potentially be the year. They're playing well like they always do. They just sort of squeeze by without much
Hassan Whiteside's playing well. Hassan Whiteside is playing well, relatively, right? And I just want to say to them, so, like, did you not see what the Clippers did to Rudy Gobert last season? I don't know why they traded him Whiteside, favors for Whiteside. I know they picked up Pascal, but anyway, we'll see with the Jazz. They're always nice. They're number 1 offensive rated at the moment. My little responses to, first the Warriors and transitioning to Lakers talk is Steph is amazing.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry is the best thing to watch in all of sports. And I would go near all time. He's got to be top something all time.
So much fun.
He's unbelievably fun to watch.
Yeah.
I love him so much. He's averaging 28 points per game, 41% from 3 on 13 attempts.
Ridiculous.
Some people say, why doesn't he shoot it 20 times? And
he honestly should.
Yeah. Anyway, and got a couple of notes. Jordan Poole, good. The best of Wiggins is here. He's just sitting around his average, but it's still good, whatever. Gary Payton II has found a spark.
Small ball center.
He's averaging 1.4 steals per game and 6 points off the bench, which is his best production in any team. He's 29 now. I don't think that the Warriors... Sorry, I love the Warriors, but I don't think that the Warriors can be labelled as... We'll see what happens with Klay. This is pre-Klay. And assuming that Klay is going to be very far from his best because of it's just unbelievable injuries. I don't think that you could possibly label the Warriors a favourite to even get out of the second round because it's just in the playoffs, personnel matters, and they just have to lock down Steph. We'll see what happens. I know they're coached well and they're moving offense, but
Steph's off-ball movement does sort of counteract that, but we've seen it time and time again. We're in the playoffs. If you focus on him, they make someone else beat you.
That's right.
And the Warriors have been traditionally good enough to do that.
It's undoubtable. Every single team tightens up in the offense. Every single
And like
player.
you look at their, the championship year before, and even the year where they lost before KD got there. But you had Leandro Barbosa stepping up, and like people like that were still playing great minutes. Sean Livingston wasn't that far off Finals MVP.
Yep.
Iggy was a lot better then. David West.
Yep.
They had a lot more senior players that played a specific role, and their ceiling might not have been as high individually, but their floor was a lot higher as well.
Yep.
Whereas someone like Jordan Poole, I can see him going like 2 for 9 in the conference finals.
Yep. Everyone tightens up in the playoffs. Talking about the Lakers, okay? Yep. So, I said last time we spoke, and then I made a little snippet of it for TikTok and that, that I really don't like Westbrook. I've said it a million times. If you know the show, you know that. Watch the games, Lakers fans that killed me for that snippet. Watch the goddamn Lakers games. And it's been a good time without LeBron. I came up with another term, JL.
Here we go.
Good player money. The Lakers traded 3-4 players, which amounts up to good player money.
Yeah.
And they traded it in for Westbrook. He's on there, of course, LeBron and AD are on the maxes, but then you could call it, I don't think he's on the mid-level. He might be, but he's on
44 mil.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, then I've totally stuffed it up. He's on the max as well. He's on 44
mil. Did you not see the thing after the Boston game?
Imagine if I knew that.
Did you see the thing where Dennis Schroeder scored whatever he did against the Lakers?
I didn't think the 44 mil was per year. I thought it was like across.
I think it's per year. I think it's on 44 this year.
Yeah. All right, you look it up, and I'll just keep going about how shit they are. We have seen when LeBron has been out, Westbrook. I think he deserved his MVP. I think that AD was great in New Orleans. I think that AD was good in that first season with LeBron. But if LeBron's not there to steer the ship, these two are may as well be overboard. Is he getting paid 44 mil per year?
$211,146. Hey, wait till next year.
You're
47.
You're paying Russell Westbrook $44 million. Any Laker fan, and the jokes are coming out. Laker fans are hating him. Oh, I'm the bad guy for hating him before it came. This guy has passed it. Whatever, in any way you want to defend him, he used to be good, but when he throws the ball, I said this last time, when he shoots the ball, it's a nightmare. When he takes control and goes crazy with the offense, it's a nightmare. I won't keep going. With AD, when there's no LeBron and there's no, oh, my phone's ringing. We'll keep going through it. There's no LeBron.
It hasn't been our show, has it?
No, it hasn't. When there's no LeBron, AD, at once upon a time, some people he might end up winning the MVP one day. I don't see him in that class at all anymore.
Not MVP territory.
He is, my number one word for AD is timid. When he is not with LeBron and they're just not dominating, if it's up to AD, he's so timid and, he's starting to lose his shot. He's starting to lose his
shot was never that good. In the bubble, he was on.
Yeah.
But he's shooting as well.
But it's one of the best things about him.
His mid-range game has always been below average.
Yeah, but especially his three-point shot I was mainly talking about. He's he's gone with the three-point shot now. Anyway, you're a big man. Another thing is he doesn't like playing center. We've always known about that. You're taller than me right now. I mean, I know I'm leaning down, but anyway.
Who would have thought?
Anyway, AD's too timid. I don't know with the Lakers. I've said this before. I think if they make the finals, it's going to be because Murray and Kawhi are out, / MPJ now. Unfortunately for the Suns, obviously to make the finals, they're still going to be one of the best teams in the West. But you know what I mean. Considering they're a LeBron, AD, 3 max players team.
Yeah. They've stifled their team by getting Westbrook.
AD is not... Now, I'm not going to say he's not worth the max, but he's not... he's not as good as I thought he was. I don't know how other people feel right now, but he's not as good as I thought he was.
I was going to say I think the issue is that the role of the big man's changed, but it's been like that for a while. But you look at the big men that do dominate the league, and they can all pass the ball. And AD is an okay passer. But if you look at Jokic, he can run the offense. Whereas if LeBron's not on the court, you can't let AD run the offense.
No.
And you don't have anyone that can facilitate and get AD the ball. And that's why Rondo was great, 2 years ago, because that's what he did when LeBron would check out of the game. Rondo would come in during the bubble, especially. He found AD on that many alley-oop passes. And I think that's just the way the big man works now, is that unless you can pass the ball and facilitate and handle the ball really well, you don't have a massive job on offense if you can't successfully run the pick and roll with someone.
Yep.
Or just crash offensive rebounds.
Yep.
And the post-up game's dead. And that's why you find him go through periods where he just doesn't impact the game, because someone needs to get him the ball first.
Yeah. I don't know. I with the Lakers, I just don't know, but I got to tell you, I'm loving it. As I said, everyone knows I hate Westbrook and I hate the Lakers. I'm never, sort of one-eyed against them or whatever, but I hate both of them. And when he went down, I was so happy because I knew he was going to do this.
It didn't look good from the outside.
Shout out to Karl-Anthony though. Have you seen this guy? Off the bench, only when he's coming off the bench. When they've started him, he's been a bit shit. But when he comes off the bench, I feel like I haven't seen Karl-Anthony like this basically since New York. The threes that he's hitting, it might just be the eye test. I'm not a big stats man. I haven't even looked at his stats. He could be at 20%, but man, he's just bombing away, and it's good to see a player. Anyway, Karl-Anthony, let's go. Let's move on. What time have we got? Oh, shit, we've been going for a while. We've been going for a good half an hour, I reckon that is. All right, we got to get straight into it. So on this week's segment, JL, I think this might be one of the first one we've done of these. But we're doing top 5 current one...
top 5?
No, sorry, top 10.
I was going to say,
top 10. Sorry, top 10 current one NBA team players. So they've only played for one NBA team is the gist.
And it's at their current peak. Not their overall career. It's where they rank
right
currently.
now, really, who you picking?
Over like an 18-month sort of sample size?
Yeah,
that's
whatever you want.
Good.
Anyway, we've both gone and, sort of secretly, is that a mature enough word?
I'll pay it.
We've both gone and come up with our top 10. And we both don't know each other's.
How are we going to trade them off? Are we going 1 for 1 sort of thing?
Yeah, 1 for 1. All right, so I'll kick us off. So my number 10, and I'll say my honourable mentions. I've got 3 honourable mentions at the end. My number 10, also for our listeners, we are on YouTube. This may not be as satisfying just via audio. There's some beautiful graphics that I would have made for the show. So check us out on YouTube. Anyway, have a listen. Here we go. My number 10, one team player in the NBA is Devin Booker.
What are your honourable mentions that you said you were going to do?
No, I'll do it at the end.
Okay.
Who's your number
10?
10?
I had pretty much a tie, and I've bumped this player out, and it's Karl-Anthony Towns.
I
bumped him out.
To 10?
No, to 11th.
Oh, so you're saying...
So I'm just saying how close this is.
Okay,
11
right.
is Cat. Number 10 is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown?
Knew this would happen.
No, bro. You can't wear a Celtics. Oh, no. Jaylen
Who do you... Right, we'll go through it, but I genuinely thought long and hard about this. And it was between Cat and Jaylen. And their stats in the last 2 years, obviously it's so hard to compare a wing and a centre, but their points per game's pretty much identical. Jaylen facilitates the ball better, and his defense is 10 times what Cat's is.
But right now...
If I'm starting a team for one season only, I would pick Jaylen Brown on my team over Karl-Anthony Towns.
I just think you're underrating him because of Minnesota.
You're
the one who said pre-season that Karl-Anthony Towns is going to get probably all NBA. I was thinking about this today. Karl-Anthony Towns. All right, and I'll just reveal my number 9. It's Cat, right?
Yeah.
My number 9 is Karl-Anthony Towns. I was thinking today, if Karl-Anthony Towns was on a better team, I can't be bothered coming up with it. But if his whole career until now, take out the COVID times and the injury times, if he was on a fighting team for like top playoffs, he would be so much more highly regarded.
And his stats would drop. And I actually like. I'm not trying to.
He'd be the center.
But I'm getting to that point now, and it happens with every good young player. Gets to this point. Why aren't they winning? And I've given him the benefit of the doubt for ages, and I said this preseason. And then you look at the way he's playing this year. He looks disinterested. He's putting up stats, but like, how many times have we seen Ant with the ball?
But wouldn't you look disinterested if you had D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards as your best players? No knock.
They're playing so well.
Like, no knock to Ant, but they're not going anywhere.
No, exactly. But if he's the heart and soul of the team, if that was Embiid in that situation, Embiid would be screaming for the ball, would be getting in their faces, making sure they're winning games, essentially.
Yeah.
Jokic would be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Any big man, and I'm comparing him to probably the two best bigs in the league.
We'll hear about those two later.
But I just don't think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to improve much than what he is. And that's okay. He's a very good player. But you wanted me to say the best 10 right now. And if I'm in the playoffs, I would take Jaylen Brown on a team. And especially because wings are more valuable in the playoffs anyway.
So if Karl-Anthony Towns...
I would take Jaylen Brown over Karl-Anthony Towns.
So if Karl-Anthony Towns was on, for example, the Warriors or... No, sorry, that's a bad example. They're the best.
Yeah.
But if Karl-Anthony Towns was in some great team with 3 shooters and prime Draymond or prime Ben Simmons...
But he's not.
No, but if he was, this is what I'm saying. I copped it last week for this as well with the soccer boys. They say I always talk about circumstantial. If you put Karl-Anthony Towns with the right settings, he's a very abnormal center. You say I talked about timid. You sort of alluded to he's a bit timid. He might look timid because he's not a big basher down below, but he's the best shooter ever. You said as a center. I would love to see him and Ben together, for example. He's a more dominant force than Jaylen Brown.
He's averaging 23 points per game.
Anyway.
And I think his peak's better than Brown's peak was.
Cat's averaging 23 now.
23.7, I think.
Oh, but forget the start of the season. You know he's a walking 26 or 27 and then 12.
Last year he averaged 24 points per game.
Well, he's big break.
I like Cat, but if I'm going, and I'm just talking playoffs only because that's where make or break the best players.
Yep.
I stand by this. I would prefer a talented wing that scores the ball, can defend and can facilitate over a big man with defensive issues.
All right. we got to move on. Well, so my number 9 is Cat. My number 10 was Booker. Your number 10 was Jaylen Brown.
My number 9 is Booker.
Your number 9 is Booker.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I was sort of thinking you're not going to have Booker in there. Okay, yeah. That's all right. I'm good with that.
There's not much to talk about there.
Devin Booker. There's a few names that I've left out that I wonder if you're going to have in there.
From like 8 to probably 12 was so tight. It really wasn't much. And that's like you said, circumstantial. I'm basing off what I've seen in the postseason, what I've seen in big games.
That's right. All right. So your number 9 was Booker. My number 8, and surely you're not far off this, is Jason Tatum. Anyway, so my number 8 is Jason Tatum. Go. What's your number 8?
Mine was Donovan Mitchell.
Whoa. I'm just going to say it. I didn't have Donovan Mitchell in there.
Did you forget about him? Or?
No. He's one of my honourable mentions.
Like I said, big game player in the playoffs.
It was so my
How
number.
many times he scored 50 in the playoffs?
See, I think so it goes back to we haven't seen Cat in the playoffs. So you wonder why I've got Cat but not Donovan Mitchell.
Because he can't get his team into the playoffs.
No, he hasn't had a good team. He's a bloody good player. He's a very good offensive player, but how many are? I believe that if Cat on a good team, and I'm very fine with him, imagining, I know that it was very hard for me to not put Donovan Mitchell in. It was the fight between Mitchell and Booker, and there's a couple other names I'll mention. But the reason why is that as good as he's been, it's okay. So talking back to what we know, what we've seen, it's the Jazz in general.
The Jazz haven't elevated in the playoffs.
That's right.
But Donovan Mitchell does every year.
He does so well, but it doesn't feel good. Like it doesn't feel good because, and it's Rudy's fault, right? Rudy's mobility in the playoffs is bad, but and also then you can't deny that Donovan Mitchell, everyone has their flaws. He can sometimes be, a bit of a hog, he's not that great with the facilitating. He's getting better. He can have a lot of games where if the lid's on the basket for him, just like a lot of shooters, then it's really on the basket and their sort of channel the offense through him isn't facilitating. It's just lids on the basket and nothing's happening. It sounds crazy for a guy that shoots a million times, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's a scorer more than anything else, and when it's not going in for him, it's not going in. So I didn't have Donovan Mitchell. You had him at 8.
Well, I just realised I've forgotten someone that I would have definitely put in there, and I've completely forgotten about him. So this might slide everyone else down. I'm trying to think where I'd put him now, and I reckon I'd probably put him about now anyway. So this might be a good opportunity.
At number 7. So I had number 8 as Tatum. You had 8 as Mitchell. Who's at number 7?
Well, should I do what I've got or what I'm now thinking? I'll do both. Because
How can you do both?
I don't know, but I'm going to have to plug in the guy that I forgot and slide everyone else down. The guy that I forgot is Jamal Murray.
Yeah, see, he's one of my honourable mentions.
I completely forgot just due to injury, but he would have made it for me.
Jamal Murray was one of my honourable mentions, just like Mitchell. What we saw in the bubble, of course, was amazing. However, then he came back out last season before the injury, and it was still spotty. It was still spotty Murray.
It has been for a while, but I'd still pop him in there.
I know these guys are big in the playoffs. They've shown it, especially in the bubble, but I don't know. I feel like we haven't got that, huge tick with Jamal Murray. We know what he does at his peak.
The consistency
still lacks. So for me, it was consistency plus injury. Honourable mention. I left him out.
My actual number 7 was Damian Lillard.
Okay, not far off mine.
And I think, and as I said before, from 7 to 13 is pretty much, it's so close.
Yep.
But also it feels like from 5 to 7 for me, so close as well. The reason I did slide Lillard down from I initially had him in like 5, purely for defensive reasons.
Yep, he's a terrible defender. Shocking.
And as I mentioned earlier in the pod, he's had these great playoff series where he's incredible and he's so notable, like the buzzer beaters.
Yep.
But that series he had against New Orleans was terrible.
Yep.
He has had series where he has been locked down and actually hasn't scored that well. I think the series where they did beat OKC in 5. And he hit that buzzer beater over Paul George. He was actually playing pretty average the whole time.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum really stepped up. So not a one-trick pony. I won't say anything like that because we know he can dominate games and we know that it is easy to hide a subpar guard defensively. But I just couldn't get him into that top 5 purely because of that.
Yeah, there's a bit of a cut-off soon for me, like where there
really is a tier where it.
Yeah. So that was your number 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 7 is Bradley Beal.
I didn't even mention him.
You don't have him?
No.
You don't have Bradley Beal?
I don't have Bradley Beal.
Don't repeat what I'm saying. Get to the answers. Why don't you have Bradley Beal? I've got him over Dame Lillard. No, sorry, no, I don't. I mentioned Dame yet. Anyway, I've got him over you. No. Anyway, go. Sorry. You don't have Bradley Beal. He was nearly scoring champion last year.
I know, but to me, it's been a bit of a flash in the pan. He's older than the other guys that I've got in this list, pretty much. And if I'm moving forward for one season only, I wouldn't have him. Again, it's the defensive issues for me. I mentioned already he's not that dissimilar to Lillard, but doesn't facilitate.
No, hold on. Well. He's a good defender.
No, he's not.
He is.
No, he's not.
Oh, man. What? You don't have Brad... Like, you think that... Bradley Beal is not over Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Sticking by it.
No way. And Bradley Beal is not over... Who the hell else did you have? Mitchell? Who else did you have?
Donovan Mitchell.
Who was your 9 and 8?
Booker.
Bradley Beal's over Booker.
I don't think he is.
I didn't think you'd put Booker in. I thought Booker was going to be the one I was going to have to fight you on.
And I've heavily gone for players that have won.
Yeah.
And that's...
I know.
When Bradley Beal did have postseason success, it was when John Wall was the best player.
Sorry, let me just stop you there. That's right. But that he was still up and coming.
Without a doubt.
You know. Before we got into the segment, you said Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard.
And as I said before, Damian is still a class above, but there's not that much of dissimilarity in the way they score the ball. But Lillard's facilitating is without a doubt better than Beal's.
Yeah, of course. Beal is not
and
a
like
facilitator.
I said, I've never seen Beal do anything in the postseason.
Okay, but when he was in the postseason, it was still early on.
Exactly, and then why hasn't he been there since?
Because they've been shit. The teams.
Have you seen who
the teams
who Beal's been playing with?
Yeah.
Isn't that much of an upgrade to someone like Donovan Mitchell?
Oh, are you joking? Beal playing on Washington compared to the raging Utah Jazz.
The Jazz are great defensively, but offensively they don't have that much. They don't have any options.
I just said before. Do you want to take all this back? I just said before they're leading the league in offensive rating, and they're always bombing the threes now.
Yeah.
In Donovan Mitchell's short career, the Jazz have been, apart from the bubble, in these next 2 seasons, they're killing it.
It's a one-man offense in Utah. It's drive and kick.
No way.
It is drive and kick.
Yeah, it is drive and kick, but Donovan is the ISO, but he does the pick and they do heavy pick and roll with Rudy. Mm-hmm. And then Joe Bogdanovic and who else? Royce O'Neal, whatever. They bomb away. The Wizards have had no such team. He said before he came on the show that he's having a case of the silly buggers.
The silly buggers today.
I'm telling you. No way. I mean, that point there, that the Washington and the Utah Jazz have been not that different.
Look at Utah for the last, other than the last 2 years, going back
Didn't
prior
they
to that.
first in the West last year?
So go back prior 2 years. Donovan Mitchell has able to elevate that team, whereas Bradley Beal's done nothing to elevate his team at all. How many times have they finished in the bottom 4 in the East?
But his team is genuinely shitter.
It is definitely shitter.
A lot, no, not just, let me go again. It's a lot shitter. It's a lot shitter. Bertans is probably their best shooter, and he's no Joe Jingles. And he's very unreliable, as Washington Wizards fans will tell you. Thomas Bryant's been injured. They're relying on kids, Advia, and now Hachimura.
No, but if you go back, so for 2 years ago, for example. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Before the Jazz had their...
I know.
Before they surprised everyone and finished first in the West, everyone picked them to finish about between 6th and 10th in the West.
Yes.
In a stacked West, 6th and 10th. 2 to 3 years ago, when it was Bradley Beal's team, the Wizards' expectations in the East were about 6th to 10th in the East. And they haven't got close to that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like. In terms of expectations, they had similar expectations. Obviously, the Jazz are playing in a better system. They've got players that can do a bit more things.
Quinn Snyder's a great coach.
Yep. And they're much better defensively. But it's the fact that Bradley Beal's never once elevated his team, in my mind. He plays great basketball.
I can't get there with you because I just think he's had such a bad team. I just never look at the Wizards. Every year, you talked about... I can't remember who you said, Buddy Hield. You were saying how Buddy Hield's one of those guys always in trade rumors.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bradley Beal. The reason why everyone always puts Bradley Beal's name
for a shit team.
is because why is he staying there? And it's a similar thing to Cat. Anyway, we got to move on. So that's amazing. I've got Beal 7th. You've got what?
7th was Lillard.
Lillard. Okay. I've got Dame 6th.
I have Embiid.
Joel Embiid? Mm-hmm. Joel Hans Embiid?
Yeah, that's the one.
No. Not serious. We're stopping the podcast. All right. Well, obviously, I've got him a lot higher than that. And I'm not biased, okay? Joel Embiid, every single person, probably other than you, says the words, if he was fully healthy for the whole year last year, he would have won the most valuable player. Yes.
No way.
Do you want me to start a call-in service? Everyone says that.
Who says that?
Everyone. It was definitely a two-horse race.
It was a two-horse race, and Jokic was winning the entire time, and then Embiid went down, and Jokic was still better the whole time.
No, Embiid had taken over by that.
No, he hadn't.
They went. You hate the Sixers. Oh.
No way.
No, bro. Come on. You know.
The whole time.
Search your feelings. Come on. You know.
The whole time, if you...
And Embiid's better than at least two of the players that are coming up. We've got to have the same similars. At least two of the players at their best, and at his best, he is better than them. When I say you're taking them for one season, like you keep...
But it's not at their best. It's them at their... what they are. And Embiid what they are.
Embiid before the injury last season was at his all-time best.
Yep. And I would take these players at their best...
No.
over him.
All right, anyway, he can't be... Sorry, we're changing it. Go, change it. Move him up. All right, so you've got bloody Embiid sixth. That's not real. All right.
And I took in his health as well into this.
Well, no, take it out.
Well,
because it's not a factor. It's not a factor.
it is. Because the way I did it and the way I processed this whole list was if I'm going into the playoffs, or if I'm starting a season and I had a clean slate of these players available to draft,
Yep.
for one season only, this would be the order I'd take them in. And that was how I did it. And I had to factor in the fact that Embiid has a rich injury history.
So you reckon if there was none of that, you would put him higher?
Yeah. But
Well, then
the
I
fact
should've.
that if you're going into a season,
I'll know for next time.
if you're going into a season,
I know, but
I would put-
It's a good analogy you've said until
Yeah.
now, because when you're saying with like all we've got on the we can't see it now, but on the graphic above us on YouTube, all that it says up there is top current NBA one NBA team players. When you're talking about just top 10, you just talk about what you believe is their current abilities at their best now. When I said that, okay, so I'm going to reveal, I don't have Klay Thompson. He's not an honorable mention, but after an Achilles and an ACL, he would have been in this top 10, but after those things, I genuinely believe and project him his abilities to not fit into this top 10.
agreed.
Top 10. Joel, and you can't factor that in. You can't factor that in.
I also just put in the fact that his playoff success, he performs worse in the playoff than he does in the postseason. In the regular season.
That's Brett Brown and
but these are the things I things I took into consideration, as well as the fact that, and this is all based off who would I pick if there was a draft. And I prefer wings.
That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. We're going to be here all day, but I can't believe you've got Embiid there at 6'5".
Jason Tatum. I knew this. I was waiting for this reaction.
I can't believe
what
that.
I said during the Lillard one, 5 to 7 were pretty much an even swap for me.
Oh, what? You're not seriously after last season when we wiped the floor with this. You're not seriously saying to me that you think that Jason Tatum, first off, can be in this top 5, but second off, is better than Embiid?
Yep.
No.
I am taking Tatum over Embiid.
All right, just for my mental health, without the injury thing one season, would Embiid be higher than Tatum?
One season, I'd go Embiid with no injuries.
Thank you. That's the main point. Anyway, why is Jason Tatum above... What?
Who have you got 5?
I've got Doncic. Yeah, I had Tatum down in 8th, remember? I'm thinking, where does Tatum fit in 1? Tatum, he's lucky to be above Cat. He's a great player. Okay, here's a projection for you. There's no more Magic Land in Beantown.
Beantown?
There's no more Magic Beans. There's no more Magic Beans in Beantown this year.
James and the Beanstalk?
Brad Stevens, the best tactical coach in the NBA, is now just your GM. And Ime Udoka is a decent coach, I would say, maybe. We'll see. But
Not sold on him yet.
There's no doubt that the recent success and just constantly consistent and always fighting and then at the top, other than last season, I think only, is because of Brad Stevens. Yes, Jason Tatum has been great, but yes, Jaylen Brown will be great. But you and any Boston fan could tell you that the personnel is not even around them, mainly, has not actually been handled and is that great. You're going to see this season. Jason Tatum, like all shooters and all scorers, he's mainly a scorer, can go through shooting slumps. He has been in one to start the season.
And he's out of it?
He shot his way out of it. Brad Stevens goggles. I'm summing it up by saying Brad Stevens goggles, and
like I said before, 5 to 7 for me was so close, and it was the health. And I like wings better than centers if I'm going deep into the playoffs.
Why do I know that there's a center in your top whatever?
Because I want them handling the ball. If they can handle the ball, that suits me.
Okay, let's go to... That is unbelievable. Embiid under Tatum. That's insane. Oh, that's insane. Okay, my number 5 is Doncic, I said.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic. Is that too low or too high for you?
I've got a number 4, so...
Okay. Well, I was just going to say that Luka Doncic probably wins the MVP one day, if not multiple finals MVPs. I predicted it to start this season that we'd see a more mature, more focused, put the bad energy into the court, as in drive. It's not. It's not happening. Literally just before we got onto recording, yes, they did win in overtime to the Clippers. That was very well done by them. And they're starting to find something with Porzingis, even though he's terrible defensively.
Which is so surprising given how he started in New York.
Yeah. But Doncic,
I think everyone's impatient with him. I'm getting there too.
His temper...
We expected so many things so quickly.
I just don't want to overrate him. You don't want to overrate anyone. I don't want to overrate him and say he's there now. Some people be like, he's arguably the best player in the NBA or arguably, just under KD and that. For me, he's not. Like, this is only a one-team list. Players that have been with one NBA team, I've got to clarify, because Doncic has played pro at Real Madrid, I think it was. His temper, he's a little bit inefficient still for what he does, but he gets it done. I always, from the start of his career, I've likened him a lot to James Harden. He's a lot like that, and James Harden can be inefficient, but still one of the best players in the NBA. Yeah. So that's why I have him down at 5. You got him at 4?
4.
Same story?
They're interchangeable, 5 and 4, really. Yep. It's like, as good as he's... I think everyone gets excited when there's a young player that dominates, and he has improved a lot. I just thought of another player I left off this list. He has improved quite a lot. Ridiculously amount. But
when I'm making the snippets and it's going to end up you getting slammed.
Yeah.
I can't snip it in your... I can't snip it
my asterisks.
I can't...
I think everyone expected the jump to be quicker and a higher jump. He's still incredible. We went from 20 points a game for his first year to 27 in his second. But everyone gets impatient when he's only in his 4th year.
Yeah.
3rd year? 4th year.
I think 4th.
So
maybe 3rd.
Everyone just is dying to see. Like, I called it last year be the youngest MVP. It didn't happen. Yep. He starts this year slowly.
I still think it's going to be a while.
All of us, and we're like, oh, he's not playing that well. He's probably not as good as we thought. Yeah. But it's like, ultimately he is. It's just we rated him too high too quickly. We saw the potential, and now we've got to wait for it to actually unfold.
I think it's all in the head for him. It's all the maturing. That's the word. You can say whether it's his anger or his efficiency and shot selection.
Yeah.
All in the maturity for me for Doncic. He's not higher than Embiid at the moment. Not at this moment. You're insane. You're bloody insane, mate. Number 4, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. I said, I think last time we spoke, that if Giannis shoots 80% from the line, he's shooting 68%. If he shoots 80% for the line, I would consider him in my top 5 all time. He's doing all right, but I don't know. I just don't know if the percentage from the line's ever going to get to
he's never going to be a great shooter.
Get to a point where he's really good, but he can be stopped. Whereas you shouldn't be able to be stopped if you're Giannis. I don't know if that makes sense. But the way to stop Ben... I'll kick Ben out of the conversation now. But the way to stop Giannis, send him to the line. You know, and most nights he's going to have a shitty night.
Game 6, 2021 finals.
Game 6, 21 finals. He was amazing. And if he can like sort of pick up to sort of always do that, then I'll put him much higher. But he's number 4 for me. Who's your number 4?
That was Luka.
Oh, Luka.
Number 3 for mine is Nikola Jokic.
Oh, we agree here. How the hell can you... you said you forgot someone. My number 3 is Jokic as well. This was tough for me. Mm-hmm. So just to get ahead of ourselves, I had Giannis at 2. Okay.
And the only difference was last year's playoffs. Jokic, you know I'm probably the biggest Jokic fan that you know. But under the biggest pressure in the NBA, Giannis dropped 50 in a finals clinching win. You know, like I couldn't disrespect him. He earned that too. Jokic, on the other hand, he's head and shoulders above everyone else we've listed.
Yeah, no, he's
not. And the gap between Giannis and Jokic is pretty much insignificant.
Yeah.
But Giannis earned that jump at number 2 for me.
Oh, Giannis is number 2?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I had Jokic at 3. I kind of... Because we're getting like... We're swapping orders here. I had Giannis at 4 and Jokic at 3. You love Jokic.
I do. But Giannis earned number 2 for me.
Because of what he did?
Yeah. Just because of what he did last year.
Because of what he did. I'll give you
benefit
that.
of the doubt.
I'm going to be honest, that's sort of why I put Booker in over Mitchell at number 10, because he done that. If he got to the finals, it was amazing. My number 2... Come on. Say it for me.
Joel
Embiid, mate. He's better than Giannis at both their best. He is better than Giannis.
Oh, you reckon?
Yes. Because I don't count Game 6 as Giannis's best. He did that he does that once in a blue moon. Giannis's best is still 68.
Giannis scores more, rebounds more.
No.
Assists more.
I don't give a damn about that.
He's probably a better defender.
You set up the wall. We'll see what happens.
They did in the playoffs, and he averaged 32 points a game.
No. You'll see. Look, whatever. Might be... No. At their best, and Giannis's Game 6 can't be counted as his... And like
that's not his average.
That's not his best, no. Right? Because if he shot 80% from the line, Embiid shoots 80% from the line. If he did, he's got more than Embiid, other than the mid-range, and he's just better, more dominant. But you can stop Giannis. You really can. The Phoenix Suns were in the finals.
He's won 2 MVPs, a Defensive Player of the Year, a Finals MVP, a championship.
I don't give a damn about all. I don't care about accolades.
Anything unbiased.
I don't care about defenders. Awards and shit like that. Embiid at his best. We saw it last season, and I said to you, you ask anyone, if he didn't get injured, he was going to win the MVP.
You said that before, but all season long, like Basketball Reference MVP tracker had Jokic. NBA.com MVP ladder had Jokic the whole time.
Sorry. Well, let me say, he was going to win MVP according to the people that no one they're looking at.
According to who? You?
No, right. You never heard that once? You never heard that if Embiid didn't go down?
For the first 3 weeks, it was tight, and then Jokic was above him the whole time.
No. Once Embiid went down, that was it. Last year.
But the door was already the door was closing. It hadn't locked yet.
Yeah.
It hadn't been locked, but the door was closed. It was Jokic's award.
Anyway, Embiid's number 2. Who did you forget?
Trae Young.
Oh, right. No, all right. Well, I can say it right now. Trae Young, honourable mention for me. Would he have cracked your 10?
He would have cracked my 10.
No.
I think he's better than Jalen.
He's better than Jalen.
And
he's not better than Cat. You're not taking him over Cat.
No, I probably would.
Oh.
Did you not see him against your 76ers in the postseason last year?
If you give Cat that Hawks team and against the Sixers as well.
But I don't have that.
Nah, see, but
you can keep...
am I the only one in this whole world? The soccer boys are the same.
Am I the only try and plug people into these situations, but at the end of the day, Cat's never got to the playoffs, probably because he can't lead a team
not probably because. If you gave Cat Bogdanovic, who else do they have? Gallinari. These are still better than Cat's ever had. Who else am I?
I don't think
forgetting?
they're making the conference finals.
Clint Capella. In the East.
Yeah.
I reckon they are. If you put Cat instead of Trae Young, and then you put someone, you have to do the replacing of the facilitation, blah, blah, blah.
So a Clint Capella. Capella's out,
so-
Cat's in, and a point guard as good as
You
Capella is.
work it out. So you give Cat that caliber team, and in the East, and I'm telling you, he does the same. Trae Young is good. Started terribly this season, so have the Hawks. But, Trae Young, similar to Embiid, I'll give you that, and Harden previously. His best, we're still yet to see Trae Young's best without manipulating the refs. You know what I'm saying? Very crafty, Trae Young, and the whole... I reckon he's one of the biggest reasons why the rules changed, because it really looked ugly watching Trae Young dominate the game by doing that thing that Kemba Walker does it as well, where they stop, running to the basket, and then they stop, and then someone behind them rolls over them.
They come over the screen.
And that's just how he got his whole production. Sorry, but he's not there yet for me.
Number one.
Both of us.
Steph Curry.
Put the phone down.
Steph Curry.
Wardell Stephen Curry is the best player that has only played for one team. He's not quite as good as KD, but he's...
Do you still honestly think that?
You think he's better than KD?
Oh, 100%. This is for another pod.
Oh, Jack. Silly buggers. What do you mean? You'd pick Steph over KD? Oh.
He's going to win his third MVP this season.
So? No, it's Kevin Durant.
What did KD do before he joined those Warriors?
Well, he made it to the finals.
Yeah. What did he do in the finals?
No,
Steph Curry
they lost
won
to LeBron.
They had the best record of all time. They had won a championship. The game, even if you look at the stats when they did play together, the Warriors were so much better with Curry on the court.
Here's a take for you. I don't think the Warriors win any championships without KD, and in 2015, if Kyrie and Kevin Love don't go down. Is that not fair to say, Jack Lynch? You know that in your heart.
The 2016 finals without KD was the most evenly matched finals I can remember.
Well,
other than 2013.
They smacked each other every game.
Yeah. 2013.
It was very good, but there's a reason why maybe the highest floor team, I'm bringing your words in, the highest floor team who had like 3 or 2 players for every position, who's done 73-9, still couldn't get the ring. It's because...
What did KD do in those playoffs? He choked a 3-1 lead to the Warriors.
Oh, no, I know, but they had Westbrook. You can't convince me when you got Westbrook.
Westbrook played better than KD in those elimination games.
Anyway,
game 6.
but still, like right now and overall, are you taking?
I genuinely, and I'm a big believer in this. And like obviously, if it's a 1-on-1, KD would win or anything like that. But Steph elevates his team more than KD can. KD is a go-to scorer. You give him the ball when you want some baskets. Steph Curry.
What about before? Okay, so right now you take Steph off the Warriors and you put KD there. You send them into the playoffs as we talked about earlier in the pod, and we talked about
the Warriors are better with Steph on the floor.
No.
Have you seen how much space he gives everyone else?
Exactly what we talked about before. Playoff time.
You don't know basketball, man.
Playoff time comes. You want on that Warriors team now with Jordan Poole as the second highest scorer or Wiggins. You want
Steph makes everyone else so much better.
I know, but Kevin, it's ISO ball in the playoffs. We just said that.
I don't care. Steph Curry is better than Kevin Durant.
Oh. Well, it's not meant to get into this.
No.
I didn't realise that you felt so strongly.
Oh, I've said this for years now.
Oh.
I don't think it's an unpopular opinion either.
I think it would be. I think most people... It's always... Okay, just generalising. It's always KD and LeBron that's talked about as the best, the best 2 players, and then you can't...
So I reckon now that if you when 5 years time, people say who are the best 2 players of the 2010s, it's going to be LeBron and Curry.
The only reason I would entertain, me sitting around and hearing that, and I understand why people say that, is because Steph Curry is more memorable than Kevin Durant. He is more memorable. Just level with me with that. He isn't. He is, isn't he? He's one of the most fun things
Yeah.
to watch. Yeah, right. And he's what did he do?
Revolutionise the game.
Revolutionise the game.
He's going to have 3 MVPs to his name and 3 championships.
I know, but Kevin Durant, especially now. So now specifically.
Now specifically, Curry's definitely better.
You like numbers. Kevin Durant's averaging more than Curry,
That's okay.
I believe.
That's okay.
I'd
still take Curry over
This
Durant.
is for another time, JL. Jesus. I didn't know that you...
Yeah.
Shit.
What I was going to ask anyway, though, and this is a quick one, because we did our best one-team players.
Yes.
Where would you rank Curry all time? Off the top of your head.
No, I can't do this because I find it, and I'm a very, I know people like to just generalize, look at the numbers. I actually haven't watched, I've probably watched 1 or 2, but I haven't watched a full game of like Magic and Kareem. So I don't know.
Kareem played for two clubs.
Yeah, I know. What? Oh,
Yeah.
right. You mean all
One
time,
team,
one
yeah.
team players. Sorry, same whole speech goes again. There's so many Lakers, so many Celtics that I've never actually sat down and watched a full game. People are different with the way they rate. Yeah, I can't give you that because I don't know. Because I might put Curry like first. I might put him whatever because Jordan played for 2 teams. You thought about this, didn't you?
Because this is what I thought you meant initially.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't actually put a list together.
No.
My initial thoughts were Magic and Bird.
Mm.
Curry would definitely be in there. Then I went to Karl Malone. And then I realised Karl Malone wouldn't be in there.
No, he wouldn't.
That stupid Lakers stint.
Yeah. Embiid.
So it's one for another time.
Wouldn't be in there.
No.
Did Oscar Robertson play for more than one team? I feel like he did. Anyway.
Yeah, he did. He played Milwaukee and the Rochester Kings, I think.
Jerry West. Did he play for more than one team?
No, it's Lakers the whole time.
Yeah, I got to think about it. But Curry would be, like, I could just confidently say he'd be easily, like, top 5. Probably top 3 easily.
He could go down as a top 10 player over KD.
If that happens, it'll just be because, and I will be happy for these things. It'll be because of what they did. But peak of the powers. Let me ask you that question.
Peak of the powers.
Don't say it. No, man. Oh,
Steph's 2016 season.
Steph can be stopped. And
Steph's 2016 season was better than any season KD's had.
I know. Okay, no. Forget season.
You said peak of the powers.
Okay, one game. Game 7 NBA Finals. And we've seen Steph do that.
Yeah. We've also seen KD choke 3-1 leads as well, so don't get me started on that.
I know, but
I'm taking Steph.
Whoa. Steph is my favourite player ever. I don't want people to disregard that.
I rate him quite highly.
Steph is my favourite player ever.
At work, we were talking about this the other day. I'd take Steph over Kobe.
I need to. I've watched a lot of Kobe.
I might get in trouble for that.
But you would have watched more of him. I don't. He's another one. I really want to watch even 82 games of all the top 75 players. I know that sounds crazy. You've probably done stuff like that. You've told me in the past that
I've watched a ridiculous amount of basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
Stupid amount.
Well, that went for ages. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, JL. Jesus. Oh, can't get any further.
I won't be here next week. I forgot how much I hate talking basketball with you. And I forgot how much I forget when I write lists of people.
Thanks for watching and listening to this episode of the Bronx Cheer Basketball Show. We're back. Let's get in a rhythm, mate. I want you here next week.
Like Jason Tatum's shooting. We're going to be in a rhythm. The slump's gone.
We're going to be back next week. We're going to put out another episode every week. Of course, come on. Follow us on social media. Hit that follow button or the subscribe button, notifications bell, YouTube, any podcast app you're on. And JL, I will speak to you
argue with
next
me
week.
very shortly.
I will speak to you next week.